So I want to take some calls and questions and comments. My last week biblical question, why is stillness so important? Why is stillness so important? That was last week biblical question, and it was an amazing biblical question. It really was. And so before I put my little 2 cents in, I want to hear from you about it. I want to ask Chris. I don't know if I asked him, the white guy. He's all holy.
What's up?
So Chris, my social media guy, why is stillness so important?
Stillness is important because it it allows you to stay in the moment. You won't be thinking about the past or the future. Like it says, be still and know God. It says be still first, and then you'll know God. And I mean that's the goal is to know God. So be still. That's why it's so important.
Amazing. So here's my little 2 cents about stillness. And I've discovered that because I've gone through it so far. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but I'm just talking about over the last 30 years. I noticed that if you're still, because we are all so emotional in that fallen state, as one of the callers said, you overreact and you're just so emotional. And it's hard for, and I'm talking about myself right now, when you are in that fallen state and you're an emotional person, it's hard to handle distraction. Like everything tends to get on your nerve, or you want to get mad, or you want to fight. And most people, especially today, people are really weak. They're very emotional. They are emotional, and so they're weak. And I noticed they can't handle distraction. They can't handle anything. We see it with the Chinese virus thing, people overreacting and putting on a mask and locking behind closed doors. And when you're walking down the road, they walk out in the street because they're emotional and they can't handle distraction. And so that's why you need to be still. What's going to happen, what happened to me is that when you're still, you're separated from the not you. The real you is separated from the imagination and not you. And what I notice is that when you're growing in that spirit, which is of God, you become less passionate. You're not a passionate person. You're not an emotional person. And so when distractions come, you're able to stay still and just deal with it. It's not a big deal. And I noticed too, because I counsel with a lot of intellectual people, I noticed that the intellectual people cannot handle distraction. They're too emotional. They can't overcome passion and emotion and stuff like that. But when you're still, you're separated from the darkness of your imagination, and you're going to notice that all of a sudden you're not bothered by things. They don't get on your nerve, and you're not overreacting to things. All right? It's just going to happen naturally. It's like your mind is being renewed, all that passion and emotion is being taken away from you, and you're able to deal with anything. Really, you really are. So you become, when you're still, you become less emotional, less distractive, and you're not into passion. Because I hear the world asking people, what's your passion? Well, I want to start, I don't know what I want to do in life. What's your passion? They'll bring hell up in you when they tell you that. You don't want to get into passion. You want to just live and be in stillness, and life will unfold for you. So to be still, God will separate the real you from the not you. And as you're growing, you're going to overcome that emotion. You're going to overcome all that crap, that passion and stuff like that. I see it at the banks. I see it everywhere. People are totally overreacting. And especially since the Chinese virus, it has gotten worse. Can't nobody stand nobody at this point. They snap just like that because they're so passionate. They're so emotional, so they can't handle any distraction. I hear a lot of mothers saying, oh, I can't wait for school to start back. I can't stand these chillums. If you're in the black world, chillums. if you're white, I can't stand these children because they can't handle distraction. They're so emotional. Well, to be still, as Chris said, God will cause you to overcome anything. Be still and know God. When the boat starts shaking, be still. And you'll see you will overcome that. And you wouldn't be disturbed by anybody or anything. All right? So, yes.
There's some people who do homework, and I could just remember doing homework.
Yeah.
And you know how, like, is there a time to where you have to really be, like, into stuff?
No.
Because even when you're doing, like, homework, perfect example is, like, you get into, like, let's say you're trying to write an essay. You get into it, and you're, like, really in it because you're trying to figure out, like, how to make this the best essay. Would you say it's best to not even be deep in it like that with the essay, to just be present as possible, and you'll figure out?
That's right. And if you feel yourself falling deep into it, put it away and walk away from it. Get away from it, because it will control you, and he'll get you so deep into it you can never get it right. He'll make you believe it's never right, good enough.
Right.
So don't get into anything or anybody. Just be.
I wish somebody would have told me that all 12 years of high school.
I know a lot of, especially white kids, they have, their parents push education on them from the moment they pop out of mama's womb. You going to the best schools, you going to the best daycare centers, you going to the best college, you going to the best everything, and they force their kids to get into that kind of stuff, and it destroys them. Mm-hmm. And the kids go through all that, and they go to the best colleges and everything, and they come out, they're nutcases because they got into it.
Yeah.
You want to always have a space between you, everything, and everybody. And that would naturally happen if you be still and overcome the world. Because that's what's happening. You're overcoming the mind, which is of Satan, which is of the world. And you'll be in the world and not of it. So if you want to overcome that emotions and all your little passions, and you want to stop being distracted, reacting to a distraction, you got to be still and know. Just be still and you're being renewed, all right? It's being changed. Amazing. Isn't that amazing?
Yes,
Amazing.
Jesse, that's amazing.
Yes, Jesse, that's amazing.
It's so weird because you feel proud of yourself when you think you worked real hard and deep.
I know. That's all ego. And then you give the teacher the paper and you get it back. It's an F. You want to kill the teacher.
Right.
I even know people right now who are really into homework and all that, and they'll write a whole essay, and if it ain't right, or they read it and it doesn't seem right, they tear it all up.
Yeah.
And they get so frustrated because they can never get it right. They get deeper and deeper into
That's
it.
so true. And they get an F anyway.
Yeah, that's right. So don't get into anything. Always have a space between, and you will automatically do it. Don't make yourself do it. It'll happen naturally, all right? Thank you all for responding to that biblical question. Why is stillness so important? It's so amazing. You want to overcome passion, folks. You do not want to be into emotions and passion. They will control you, Satan's children, and Satan will control you with that. Believe me, when you're into passion, enough is never enough for you. Have you noticed, Joel, that when you're into passion, it's never enough. You could get the biggest house on the hill, and it ain't big enough.
Right. Right. It's always more that you want.
Yeah.
There's no satisfaction in it.
Right. But when you're into dispassionate by being still, you're pleased with, you're satisfied with whatever you have. You have the same attitude with little that you will have with much. Believe me, because that's not where you get your identity from. It's amazing. Always have a way to see attitude, folks. I'm telling you. You may have to endure some things, but wait upon the Lord, and he will guide you every path. I'm telling you, he really will. That's not a Christian, it's a Christian saying, but they don't even understand it. Endure, don't resent, endure, don't resent, and it will happen. He's with you. And once you start to see that, it's mind-blowing. It really is. Thank you all so much, all right? Don't forget to donate to rebuildingtheman.com. We have merchandise and all kinds of things there. And you're going to see every dime we get, it goes back into what we're doing. Staff to pay, things to do, all right? That's why we're able to do so much. We never gotten one dime from the government. So thank you very much. Don't forget to do the silent prayer. And don't let Satan talk you out of it. If you have time to go to the bathroom, you have time to do the silent prayer. If you have time to eat, you have time to do the silent prayer. If you have time to go and get in your car and go to work, you have time for it. You have time for your cell phone, you have time for the silent prayer. Don't let the enemy talk you out of that, because he's trying to hold on to you, deceive you, and destroy you.